Welcome to the Philippine Science Heritage Center's new Salinlahi Science Center, honoring our top Filipino scientists and their game-changing contributions to the world of science. Know more about all of them and let the Salinlahi Science Center be your gateway into their minds. Salinlahi.
NAST Environmental Science Award, NAST Talent Search for Young Scientists, Dr. Emiliano T. de Ocampo Visionary Awards for Medical Research, DOST Awards or NSTW Award, Outstanding Research and Development Award or the Eduardo A. Casumbing Medal for Basic Research and Julian A. Banzon Medal for Applied Research, Outstanding Technology Commercialization Award for the Gregorio Y. Zara Medal, Outstanding Science Administrator Award for the Dioscoro L. Umali Medal, Magsaysay Future Engineers or Technologist Award, DOST International Publication Award, DOST Granted Patent Utility Model Award. Activities under Recognition Function. NAST Lecture Series. The activity aims to promote science and technology and bring our scientists closer to the grassroots. NAST Symposium for the Youth. The activity aims to promote science and technology and to bring our scientists closer to the youth. Research Upgrading and Performance Evaluation. A series of capability building workshops that aims to help researchers to conduct research projects and produce R&D outputs. Second function is the advisory function. Through its advisory activities, NAST has been able to bring science and technology closer to the lives of the Filipino people. Activities such as legislative and information fora, roundtable discussions, conferences, with topics about biotechnology, genetic engineering, research performance evaluation, manufacturing, intellectual property rights, information and communications technology, among others. The main activity of the advisory function is the annual scientific meeting. The function also conducts annual regional scientific meetings in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Speakers Bureau is a program under the advisory and advocacy functions of NAST Philippines. This activity aims to gather and bring experts in various fields to lend their expertise to academic institutions or any interested organizations who are in need of speakers and resource persons on
Before we begin, please be reminded of our house rules. Proper decorum is expected among all participants. Any act of disrespect and rudeness will not be tolerated. Kindly key in your questions for the speakers in the chat box. Please refrain from using the chat box unless you have questions during the Q&A session or you have urgent concerns. Your microphone will be muted by default and only be enabled in case you have a query during the Q&A session. Please avoid distractions and make sure that you click the mute button on your microphone. All throughout the event, let's all be focused, respectful, and engaged.
Hello and good morning, everyone. It's a fine day out there, and I hope you are enjoying this God's gift, all right, in the safety of your home or your office, wherever you are. We are at the Pilipinas Virtual Kapehan, and my name is Richard Burgos. I'm the director of the DOST-STII Science and Technology Information Institute, and I will be your moderator for this morning's Pilipinas Virtual Kapehan. Now, to welcome us to this event, we have the Executive Director of the National Academy of Science and Technology, Dr. Luningning Samarita, to read for us the welcome message of Academician Rodora Azanza, the NAST Philippines President.
Good morning to everyone. On behalf of the National Academy of Science and Technology Philippines, I formally welcome everyone in this year's first Philippine NAST Virtual Kapehan, featuring our new outstanding young scientists. The Academy hopes that this first episode of the 2021 Virtual Kapehan will serve as a venue to introduce our NAST awardees and raise the general public's awareness on the timely issues that will be discussed during the 43rd Annual Scientific Meeting on 12 to 15 July 2021. As you know, this virtual Kapehan started last year. Today is a great opportunity to know about the exemplary contributions of our awardees to science and technology in the Philippines and discuss science-based transformation of knowledge and research into potential goods and services for the Philippines' path towards sustainability and resiliency. After this Kapehan, we also hope to see you in the next virtual Kapehan happening on July 6 this year. And of course, during the 43rd Annual Scientific Meeting this 12 to 15 July 2021. This year's ASM will discuss interesting topics such as food, environment, and health, exploring the connections. Second, viral evolution, dynamics and modeling interventions. Third, systems approaches to address present-day hazards. Fourth, educating for our future, retrieving the COVID-19 generations. Fifth, balancing the economy and health. And the last, health systems, response, and preparedness. Other highlights.
Recording in progress.
Other highlights include the presentation of research results of NAST awardees, presentation of the 43rd ASM resolution, awarding ceremony for the different NAST awards, and investiture and oath-taking of new NAST members. I would like to thank all those who worked persistently to continue what we started last year and make this year's virtual Kapehan a success. Our panel of outstanding young scientists for participating and contributing to the advancement of science and technology in the country. Our media friends for finding time in your busy schedule to attend this important activity and support the ASM and NAST awardees. To Director Richard Burgos for accepting our invitation to be our moderator in this event today and the other events of NAST, and our NAST communication team. Thank you very much. I wish for a fruitful exchange of ideas from our media and invited guests. Once again, welcome and a pleasant morning to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Director Ning Ning. And to all our media friends out there, isang mainit na pagbati. Okay, so today is going to be very interesting because we're going to meet some important people from the science and technology sector. All right, and they will mostly be the recipients of the Outstanding Young Scientist Award of the National Academy of the Philippines. So sino po sila? Makikilalan po natin sila sa umagang ito. Now, what is the Pilipinas Virtual Kapehan? Well, it is a series of online dialogues with the media. And it started last year between the National Academy of Science and Technology of the Philippines and the press, as well as science communicators all over the land. And the objective is to introduce programs, activities, and personalities, of course, including awardees and members of the Academy, and also to discuss timely issues faced by the country. You see, the National Academy of Science and Technology is the highest award-giving body for science and technology in the country. It is also the highest advisory body to the Philippines when it comes to science and technology. All right? So for this year's first Pilipinas Virtual Kapehan, our featured guests are the new Outstanding Young Scientist awardees. And for the information of our media friends present today, the award that our guest will be receiving is called the Outstanding Young Scientist Award. Bakit young? Because it's given only to scientists who are 40 and below. All right? They must not be 41 years old within January to December in the year of the awarding. And they are recognized chiefly for their outstanding contributions, their significant contributions to science and technology in the country. So a total of 12 OYS awards are available every year, and these are divided among the following divisions of the National Academy of Science and Technology. All right, so we have agricultural sciences, biological sciences, okay? So we have chemical, mathematical, and physical sciences, engineering sciences and technology, health sciences, very, very particularly relevant this year and last year, as well as the social sciences. Now, before I introduce them, okay, gusto ko lang pong sabihin na yung format po ng kapihan natin ay para lamang tayong nakikipagkwentuhan. All right, I will ask our guests some to introduce themselves. I will ask them a few questions, and we will also have time to entertain questions from the media. And you can direct them to any one of our awardees present here this morning. So, let's get to meet them. I'm excited to meet them. There are 9 that we will meet today. And let's start off from the Philippine Carabao Center. Dr. Marvin Villanueva, who is a PhD in veterinary medicine. Good morning po, Dr. Marvin.
Good morning po, Dr. Burgos. My name is, yes sir.
Please
My
introduce
name is-
yourself. Let us know
Yeah.
what is it that you are working on, and maybe why you were selected for this award.
Okay, so I'm Marvin Villanueva and I am a veterinarian by profession. So I'm 35 years old, so pasok po ano. And aside from being a practicing veterinarian, as a researcher, I'm working on advanced technologies like development of diagnostic test kits that we can use especially by our farmers in early diagnosis of buffalo, diseases of ruminants, especially water buffaloes. And aside from that, we are also active in the information dissemination of the this information that the farmers need para ma-reduce po yung ganitong mga sakit sa ating mga alagang kalabaw, baka, kambing. Ayan, thank you po.
All right, thank you, Dr. Marvin. So mga sakit ng mga kalabaw, baka at kambing. Kaya sila tinatawag na ruminants. All right? So mahalaga na malalaman natin kung ano nga ba ang mga lunas, no, na dulot natin sa mga ruminants natin, mga hayop natin na may sakit. All right? So very important area for science and technology interventions. Now, let's get to meet Dr. Ray Donut Papa, who has a PhD in biological sciences. All right? Hi, good morning, Dr. Papa.
Good morning po, Sir Richard.
Yes, tell us more about yourself.
So my name is Ray Don Papa. I'm from the University of Santo Tomas. And I work on freshwater biology, particularly on freshwater zooplankton ecology and systematics, as well as the broader field of limnology, which is the study of lakes.
All right, so pag sinabi nating lake, anong mga lakes ang pinag-aaralan natin?
Well, most of my studies po have been concentrated on Lake Taal, pero we also have research studies conducted on the 7 lakes of San Pablo, some on Laguna de Bai, and meron din po mga panakanakang mga researches na ginawa kami in other lake ecosystems in other parts of the Philippines.
Oo nga, kailangan din natin pag-aralan. Ano ang mangyayari sa ating mga lakes? Halimbawa, kung merong volcanic eruption, okay? Anong mangyayari dun sa Tawilis, sa Taal Lake? Will we be able to preserve them? Any quick thoughts on that?
Well, actually, I've been studying Sardinella tawilis po since my master's degree, and then for my PhD, I moved on to studying yung zooplankton ng Taal, which is yung main na kinakain ng Sardinella tawilis. And so, of course, we are very curious as to what will really happen ngayon po na increased yung volcanic activity sa Lake Taal. And we have colleagues, of course, who are focused on studying methods kung paano po siya aralin para halimbawa mo malaman kung magiging successful ba yung captive breeding niya outside Lake Taal. Kami naman po ay interested kung ano ang nangyayari or mangyayari sa kanya sa Lake Taal habang ito po yung scenario naman na nagaganap sa Lake Taal ngayon po.
Very interesting area of study, very relevant, so timely kasi ngayon nag-aalboroto na naman po ang volcano natin sa Taal. Let's get to meet our third OIS awardee, Dr. Pierangeli Vital, who has a PhD in biology. Dr. Pai, good morning po. Please introduce yourself.
Good morning po, Dr. Richard. I am Pierangeli Vital from University of the Philippines, Diliman. And my research interest po is on environmental microbiology, particularly on microbial food safety. So ang tinitingnan ko po ay mga foodborne pathogens, yung mga nag-cause po ng disease kapag nakakain po ng contaminated food. But I am also interested po in beneficial microbes in food.
All right. So food, very important. We ingest food every time, every day, 3 times a day or more. And sometimes some of our food gets contaminated. And sometimes even a towel can be served as food. Diba? Okay. So very important area of science and technology research and development. Okay. Now, let's get to meet Dr. Aaron Don Africa, who has a PhD in electronics and communications engineering. Good morning, Dr. Don.
Good morning, everyone. I am Dr. Aaron Don M. Africa. I am from De La Salle University, Manila. My field of specialization is artificial intelligence. Basically, we create programs for optimizing systems. We create programs in expert systems in diagnosing treatment diseases and cardiovascular diseases. And recently, we created an expert system, an optimization system that can diagnose breast cancer.
Wow, breast cancer through artificial intelligence. And I thought artificial intelligence was something that was way, way ahead of us. This is very good to know that it is right here and now. We're doing it and we are even competitive in the area. Totoo po ba yan? Are we competitive in artificial intelligence?
Yes, yes.
Or marami lang tayong mga tao na nagkukunwari na intelligent sila?
And no, actually we are very competitive in artificial intelligence in our country. We have many researches about it, and our research are at par with other countries.
Oh, wow. That's really heartening to know. Thank you very much, Dr. Aaron Don Africa of DLSU. Let's get to meet Dr. Charles C. Charles C. of DLSU was a PhD in industrial and systems engineering. Good morning, Dr. C.
Good morning, Dr. Burgos. So to everyone who joined today, good morning. I'm Charlie C. from the Department of Industrial Engineering of De La Salle University, Manila. So like Dr. Don, I also work in optimization. So in particular, I developed a modeling framework called Target-Oriented Robust Optimization, or TORO, that integrates modeling under uncertainty or optimization under uncertainty. So research interest, I started actually in supply chains, and then lately it became more flexible. I started working in energy, sustainability, and because of this pandemic, also mitigation of COVID-19 problems or distributions.
Wow, that's a lot of things that you are doing, many things on your plate. And yet, how old are you now, Dr. C?
I'm 35.
Wow, okay. Ayan po mga kaibigan, ang bata-bata po ng ating mga
No,
outstanding.
not too young naman po.
All right. So, who were the first persons you shared the news that you won this year's Outstanding Young Scientist Award?
Actually, I learned about the news in two stages. Yung unofficial, I learned that I was shortlisted while my parents were in the hospital confined with COVID-19. So it was it was a shock. So yun, nasa hospital sila and they were a bit serious. Tapos yung officially I learned 1 week they're already recovering at home, and then I also learned that I got promoted to full professorship that day. So it was a day to remember.
Wow, double congratulations, full professorship, and winning this Outstanding Young Scientist Award. Ang galing naman, ano ha? Let's get to meet our next awardee is Dr. Jomar Rabahante, who has a Doctor of Science in Mathematical and Systems Engineering. All right. Hi, good morning, Dr. Rabahante.
Good morning, Sir Richard, Ma'am Liningning, at yung mga nandito. No? So I'm Jomar Rabahante, 36, Philippines. The joke lang. My research interest is on mathematical biology. I had research on cancer modeling, but recently I'm doing work on host-parasite interaction, and I also and currently helping the UP COVID-19 pandemic response team. Currently, I also have admin work. Aside from being a professor in UPLB, I'm the dean of the graduate school. So, medyo kailangan natin mag-focus sa graduate students din. Yeah.
That's a lot of things also on your plate, and you're so young. Okay, Dr. Jomar Rabahante, what do you think is going to be the significance of winning this award for your work, your personal life?
I think personally, of course, it motivates me to do better, to do more, to become somehow a real leader in this field of my expertise, mathematical biology. Pero dun sa mga colleagues ko din, it can motivate them na even though, usually mga mathematicians parang iniisip wala tayong application in real life, but this is somehow a testimony that we can have an impact for the whole Philippines. So, yun po.
Pretty much. That impact, we're all waiting for that. And I know that if you do a good job here, you have a very good chance also of succeeding Chancellor Dong, from Dean of Graduate School to Chancellor of UPLB. So, all the best to you, Dr. Jomar Rabahante. Let's get to meet another young scientist, all right, who has gone up to the skies. Okay, Dr. Gay Jane Perez, who has a PhD in physics. Good morning, Dr. Perez.
Hi, good morning, Sir Richard and everyone. So let me introduce myself. I'm Gay Perez. I'm from the Institute of Environmental Science and Meteorology at the University of the Philippines, Diliman. Currently, I am also on secondment, serving as the Deputy Director General of the Philippine Space Agency. So my training, I'm a physicist by training, but currently I'm more I'm focusing now on space and earth sciences. So my research interest primarily deals with the use of satellite data for different applications such as in agriculture, weather, and climate studies, among many other applications.
All right. So talaga naman, ang dami lang nagawa ni Dr. Gabe since, very young and already very accomplished. Nakakatuwa, Ngayon, nasa kalawakan na kayo. Paano mapapalawak ng award na ito ang inyong trabaho, ang inyong career, ang inyong personal life?
Okay. Thank you, Sir Richard, for the question. Well, I think this is an encouragement, especially to the younger generation, to younger scientists or scientists in the making. I hope they'd be inspired to pursue science and actually do good in it, really. I guess what what makes this award like special, or I guess meaningful for me, is being able to, well, first of all, to be recognized in doing science that creates impact, or relevant science for that matter. So as we know, although space is like out of reach, literally, but we are getting a lot of useful applications from space derived information. So, which helps in our planning, decision making, and management of different issues, disaster, environmental protection, security, and many more. So, yun, sir. Really hoping to engage more people to work on this field.
Tama po yan. Science for the people. And that's our mantra here at the Department of Science and Technology. There's a lot of science that is actually on the ground to ensure that whatever we know, our people will also know. All right? So thank you very much, Dr. Perez. Let's get to meet Dr. Jason Vincent Cabañez, who has a PhD in Communication Studies at is working with De La Salle University. Good morning, Dr. Cabañez.
Hello, good morning, everyone, and good morning to Sir Richard as well. So I am Jason Cabañez from the Department of Communication at De La Salle University, where I am associate professor. I am also the chair of the Ethnicity and Race Division of the International Communication Association. And my work is really about how digital media is transforming the everyday lives of people, and particularly of Filipinos and other people in the global south. In terms of the research that I do, my primary work is on how digital media play a role in the possibilities and challenges that it offers when it comes to cross-cultural relations and relationships. Secondarily, I also do work on digital workers in the global south, including on digital disinformation production. Those people whom we call trolls as well. So I've had a chance to actually interview and meet them in my project.
Wow, very relevant issues that you are studying. All right, there's of course digital media, and what are your thoughts about our young students having to grapple with the issues of using digital media maybe too early on?
Yes, I think currently what we're seeing is that our lives, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, has become even more digitally mediated than before. In fact, most of our lives now are lived online, and for young people, for students as well, we see that it's not only the learning part, but even their social interactions are now online. And so we're beginning to see what it can help us with, what these technologies can help us with, but also the limits of what they offer. Like a lot of my students and many young people, I think, are complaining now that they want to go back to campus, they want to see their friends. So the social dimension of life kind of taking a backseat. Everything is now about function and work because of the online lives that we now live. So it's a really fascinating time to study how digital media is becoming more central to our lives.
You are the right person at the right time, at the right place. Okay, so we are glad that you are there and you are an outstanding young scientist. Now, just a quick note. What do you have to say about trolls? They will be very, very relevant, especially with the coming elections. All right.
Yes, because I study trolls in the context of digital workers, I think what we have really is a country with a lot of talent when it comes to digital work. And what we really need are social safety nets for these workers so that they don't get tempted into doing trolling work. Kasi sayang yung talent nila napupunta doon when we can contribute so much when it comes to the digital industries. It's not about trolling, but more about other things for society.
Thank you very much, Dr. Cabañez. Very interesting research work you're doing there. Now let's get to meet Dr. Arnold Salvacion, who has a PhD in environmental science. Good morning, Dr. Salvacion.
Good morning po sa lahat. Good morning po, Sir Richard.
Yes, introduce yourself.
I'm Arnold Salvacion from the University of the Philippines, Los Baños. Most of my work is on the applied geographic information system. So I use mapping techniques to analyze data, especially those secondary data that are we don't know that are already available, especially in the local government, that we could use to generate other relevant useful information for policy planning. Thank you.
All right. So it seems like maps are very, I think, also very interesting and maybe controversial, especially this time when the boundaries of countries and their exclusive economic zones are drawn by lines sometimes imagined. Okay, so how do you think your science will contribute to the national integrity of our land?
Pagdating po dun sa mapping sa boundaries, medyo malaking problema po yan, magulo yan. So hindi natin papakilaman yan kasi may mga legal issues din dyan. But anyway, what I do is I use maps to help local governments, especially my home province, Marinduque, in planning and, for example, disaster mitigation and things like that.
All right. So talaga naman maps, you have to know how to read your maps so you can appreciate what features the land will have for you or the waters around you. And maybe what hazards also they bring to you. Okay, so and you are better prepared to face off with these hazards. So, ladies and gentlemen, you have just met 9 very exciting personalities and they're also young and accomplished. Nakakatuwa silang makasama sa araw na ito at sana marami kayong katanungan kasi pambihirang pagkakataon ito nakasama natin itong really talented and young scientists. All right. So again, maraming salamat sa ating outstanding Young Scientist Awardees. Sila po ang ating bagong awardees this year. At congratulations na rin when you are receiving this award. Now, as I mentioned before, I have some more questions for us to know our young scientists better. And before that, for our media friends and science communicators out there who are present in this call, if you have questions for our guests, para po hindi magulo mamaya, please type your questions in the chat box of this Zoom meeting. Paunahan na lang po tayo. And so after reading your questions to our guests, we will let you ask your follow-up question personally if you have any. So there goes. Let me see if we have questions already. Okay, we are also live pala on Facebook. Okay, the Facebook page of NAST PHL. Okay, and I'd like to recognize our media friends who are currently with us. So we have Professor Erwin Rimban, who is a campus information officer. We have my friend Paul Icamina from All News Asia and Malaya Business Insight. All right. Good morning, Paul. Matagal na tayong hindi nagkikita. Okay. We also have from Philippine Star, John Vic Mateo. From Happy Morning Show, Narisa Piscos. From Eagle Broadcasting Center, Annabelle Surara. From DZXL, Katipunan Channel, Maria Catherine Suba. And we also have features writer, Ana Clarissa Torrio of the Ciencia. Okay. And sino pa bang nandito? Raymond Cabarles, who is a blogger. And we have from PTV4, Grace Claveria Maniaga. From Mindanao Today, the contributing editor, okay, Uriel Kilinging, and from Philippine Star, Rainier Ronda. From Resto Plus, Elena Kyla Esteban. From an information or media relations officer, Cornelia Cepeda. And we also have from Phil Rice Midsayap, communication staff, Sylvia Therese Kiring. From the Manila Times, reporter Caitlin Cruz. And from Sentinel Times, Nympha Estrellado. From Pinoy Science Guy, Sian Nathan Asierto. And madami pa pala ito. Racho Ebenezer. From Diario Pilipinas, Nora Gamolo. From Backend News, Marlet Salazar. Melinda Quinones of PIA, Cornelia Cepeda, Media Relations Officer, Philippine Broadcasting Station, Marites Balquiedra. And from PIA also, Joselito Giron. From TV5, F. Del Mundo. From Manila Standard, we have Mary Beatriz Umlas. And from DOST-STII, Beth Padilla. Good morning, Beth. From Manila Standard, James Paul Gomez. From DZJV 1458, Radio Calabarzon, Daniel Castro. From Palawan Daily News, Arkahim Guluda. Okay, ang lalayo pa nila, no ha? From Manila Bulletin, we have Merlinda Hernando Malipot. And from DZEM 954, we have Eufronio Ibuig Jr. From GMA DZBB, Alan Gatus. And lastly, from the Philippine Daily Inquirer, Visaya Villamor Jr. So, ang dami natin ngayon, okay? So, all right. So, let's see. Nasa na ba tayo? Do we have more questions? Okay, let's see. This is, the first question is for Dr. Papa. Aside from tawilis, ano pa po ang mga isda na pinag-aaralan ninyo? Ang tilapia po ba ay isa sa mga naging focus din ng inyong research? And this is from Bel Surara of Eagle Broadcasting. Dr. Papa?
I already answered in the chat box, sir.
Okay.
Pero
maybe for the information of
for
everybody.
the others
else.
din po, well, since we're studying yung freshwater ecosystems, usually pag pinag-aaralan po namin yung mga isda sa mga lake, it's always in the context of how it is related dun sa mga ibang organisms na nakikita dun sa lake or yung mga conditions na meron dun sa lake. So, yes po, kasama rin po dito yung tilapia, pero pati rin po yung ibang mga species ng freshwater fishes na nakikita sa mga lakes na yan. And then, yun po, tinitignan namin ano yung relationship niya or yung impact ng kanyang kinakain, yung dami ng kinakain niya, yung environmental conditions sa kanya. At saka, I also have a former student who focused naman on the parasites that are also found in the fishes that are in these freshwater ecosystems. So, yun po.
So, kasi tayo, ang alam lang natin, tawilis at tilapia. No? Are there other fish species that you are studying?
Yes po. Yun nga po. Well, it includes several na nagiging focus namin. For example, pag Laguna de Bai, kasama na po dyan yung tilapia, pero inaaral din po namin yung ayungin. For example, sa Taal, may ilang species po ng biya na inaaral din kami bukod sa tilapia. So, yun po. Marami rin pong iba-iba. Pero, lagi pong as part siya ng community. Hindi lang yung isda per se yung inaaral namin.
Okay, another question from Bel Surarat for Dr. Vital. Sa inyo pong pananaw, ngayong nasa pandemic ang bansa, issue pa ba ang food contamination?
Hi, hello po ulit. Magandang question po yan. No? Isa po yan din sa mga tanong ko is food contamination or food safety versus hunger. So very important din po of course no na ma-address po both yung hunger and yung food safety kasi in relation po yan of course sa mga diseases po din na makakos sa mga taong makakakain pa rin po ng contamination. Madami pong cases na ganyan no like for example sa mga pantries o yung mga donations like kailangan na po talaga ng pagkain ng mga tao but there would be scientific reports din po also na tumataas po yung cases na nagkakaroon po ng mga foodborne diseases yung mga tao na nakaka-receive po dun sa donation. So hopefully po no with our studies ma-address po all food safety, hunger as well as sustainability po.
Very good.
Actually,
yeah, go ahead. You were saying...
I think po, isang question din po ay yung kung ang food po ba natin na kinakain ngayon ay nakakontaminate po of COVID-19 also. So, iyan din po yung mga pressing issues also.
Okay, what's the quick answer to that question?
No, sir. Hindi po. According also to Centers for Disease Control, hindi po nako-contaminate yung food natin as long as kung malamig po siya, kainin po na malamig at kung mainit po dapat ang food ay kainin din po siya dapat ng mainit. So that's my quick answer lang po.
The only direct relationship between food and COVID-19 is when you take off your mask. Yun po, nakakahawa po, but hindi from the food but from another infected person. Tama po yun. Okay, so... all right. Sino pa ba ang ating tatanungin dito? For Dr. Cabañez. All right. How can research on digital media mitigate the surge in misinformation and disinformation on vaccines and the COVID variants? Okay, this is asked by Catherine Cruz of Manila Times to Dr. Cabañez.
Thank you, Catherine, for your question. Siguro two quick answers. Yung isa is we need to be able to understand yung paano napoproduce, ano yung nangyayari behind the scenes to produce this kind of disinformation about health and vaccines. Bakit sila ginagawa? Bakit ginagawa itong mga disinformation na to? Halimbawa, yung isang nakita namin is yung iba sa kanila algorithmic lang eh. Nagpapalabas lang sila ng mga kung ano yung bumibenta sa maraming likes, maraming shares, tapos kumikita na sila doon. So, yung goal lang nila ay kumita, kaya sila nagpapakalat ng disinformation. So, kailangan maaral natin yung iba't ibang ways at strategies na ginagamit ng mga disinformation producers para alam natin what policies we can develop to address that, stem it from the start. Kasi kung hindi sila nakaka-create, wala na tayong problema in terms of interpretation. But on the other side then, habang nangyayari pa yung disinformation, on the interpretation side, on sa mga taong gumagamit ng social media, mahalagang malaman natin dalawang bagay. Una, ano ba yung mga kwentong meron sila sa isip nila? Yung tawag ko ng deep stories na pinaghuhugutan nila pag tumitingin sila ng mga bagay sa social media, kaya sila napapapaniwala. Meron kasi tayong mga sinishare na story sa isa't isa na nagiging mas vulnerable tayo tuloy sa mga particular kinds of disinformation. Tapos pangalawa, bilang isang media scholar, important din kasi sa amin yung paano mo kino-consume yung information. May kausap ka ba? Kinikwento mo ba yun sa ibang tao? Sinishare mo ba siya? Kasi madalas minsan pagka kahit hindi doktor yung kausap, mahalagang tao lang. Like siguro nilirespetong tao sa barangay or sa kapitbahayan or kamag-anak. Kahit hindi yan doktor, pag nag-share ng disinfo, naniniwala yung ibang tao kasi yung status niya. So kailangan aralin natin yung mga ganong bagay, what makes people vulnerable. So kailangan two-pronged yung approach. Salamat.
All right. Dr. Cabañez, you talked about trollers or trolls doing it for money. Okay, so should we not also focus on those who give them money to promote their activities, so that if we identify them, we can dissipate their work and make them less accessible to people who work only for money?
Yes, that's true. We need to I think, put out legislation around that. But siguro dalawang bagay din siya. Yung isa is legislation na transparency for when people fund particular kinds of campaigns. Sino ba yung binabayaran nila for particular campaigns para alam natin, and siguro it becomes harder for them to fund these kinds of campaigns because you have to be transparent about it. But since also because we don't want we're a democracy, gusto natin, ayaw naman natin ng censorship. So what we can do also is self-regulation sana. Self-regulation ng mga digital influencer. Kasi hindi sila self-regulated. Kung ano-ano lang yung nilalabas nila. Sana nag-usap-usap sila. Kumbaga sa advertising yun, PANA or merong kapisana ng mga broadcasters sa Pilipinas. Sana may ganun din yung mga digital influencer para meron silang ethical norms and guidelines of what campaigns they should agree to do. But also sa ADNPR, stronger self-regulation din kasi minsan nadadamay din sila dun sa disinformation, yung pagpapakalat ng health disinformation. Lalo na yung mga professionals from ADNPR, not the ones who are working there now, pero yung mga lumipat na kasi feeling nila mas kumikita sila sa disinformation.
Oo nga, nagkikitaan pala ngayon ang disinformation, and that really makes our job to communicate the right information very challenging, especially in these times of the pandemic. All right. So next question is from Ms. Horizon Chaser Narisa Piscos of DWBL, and ang sabi niyo, why is your research important? Alam ko na si Narisa is into agriculture. She's turned a farmer herself. So let's direct that question to Dr. Marvin Villanueva, who is into, of course, diseases of ruminants. Why is your research important?
Actually, yung aking mga pet studies are mainly bovine leptospirosis and tuberculosis. So ito pong mga ito ay tinatawag na zoonotic diseases, or these are the diseases na sinishare ng hayop at ng tao. So aside of causing disease to animals, maaari din po kasi itong makahawa din sa tao. So alam po natin dito sa Pilipinas na mataas pa rin yung case ng TB natin. Hindi natin alam kung person-to-person contact po ito, but the animal-to-human contact is also possible. That's why yun nga pong mga diagnostic kits na dinedevelop po natin will be very useful para po ma-identify and to develop control measures para ma-prevent po ito. And sa ngayon din po kasi yung ginagawa namin research ay medyo iniba namin. Dapat may social aspect siya. Kasi wala po talaga kasing use kung gagawa lang tayo ng research but it will not be accepted or adopted by our clients or yung nasa grassroots po. So kung gagawa kami ng mga technologies or mga tools, it should be acceptable din po sa aming mga clients para po talaga pong maramdaman nila na yung mga ginagawa namin ay may kabuluhan din po.
All right. So how widespread is leptospirosis among ruminants as well as tuberculosis? How big is the problem?
Yeah. Sa leptospirosis po kasi ang alam po ng usual po na tao, galing po ito sa daga. Kasi tuwing tag-ulan, talagang dumadami yung cases ng leptospirosis sa Metro Manila. But ang hindi po natin alam, meron din po mga pathogenic leptospira po sa mga kalabaw and baka. And in my study, ang prevalence po niya ay naglalaro ng 16 to 20%. And marami po kasi dun sa mga rural areas na nakakaramdam sila ng lagnat, ganyan. Ang inisip nila is baka napagod. But yun pala, kumbaga cause na po ito nung bacteria po na nandun po sa animals, dun po sa mga farmers po natin. Sa tuberculosis naman po, actually talagang wala po akong makitang data. Mayroon pong mga several outbreaks na nakukuha po kami. But what we are doing now is we are making a proposal that we need to have a surveillance ng bovine leptospirosis, ng tuberculosis, para at least meron po tayong idea yung severity po ng infection and makagawa na po ng control measures para po dito.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Marvin. Okay, so 15 to 20% leptospirosis among ruminants, that's a sizable number, no? And that can really impact significantly our ruminant population. Okay. Next question comes from Ed Usman, and he's saying, introducing new fish species into lakes has been done before. Now, ang question na, how destructive is this to native species? Or are there any advantages? He asks this because in Buluan Lake in Maguindanao, a long time ago, agri people introduced on the lake new species, like big fishes. And then, inubos halos ang new species, yung native species, which was the food of residents around the lake, as well as their source of livelihood. And he is aware that this happened also in Lake Lanao in Marawi City. So can we direct this to sino ba yung gumawa ng study on lake ecosystems?
Sige, sir. Ako na po sasagot. Again, actually, I sent Sir Ed a PM already. Pero for the sake of the others din po, indeed po talaga big issue, lalo na sa freshwater ecosystems, ang tinatawag nating non-native species or yung mga invasive species, no? Na nakakarating po dito. And it's true na kapag hindi po napag-aralan mabuti yung impacts ng introduction dun sa isang lugar, pwede pong maka-affect talaga siya sa native species na nakikita na dun sa ecosystem na yon, sa lake na yon, for example. And it can really lead to a displacement, a total displacement of the native inhabitants of that lake. Kaya po dapat pagka meron pong projects, let's say for introduction because it has potential for aquaculture, dapat po talaga pinag-aaralan mo ng mabuti yan. If I may share, although yung question po was on fishes, isa po sa mga naaral din namin ay hindi lang sa fishes nangyayari ang ganitong bagay sa ating mga lakes, because in 2012 we discovered a species of freshwater zooplankton. The name is Arctodiaptomus dorsalis, which was a microcrustacean zooplankton po na nakikita lamang talaga nung una sa Central at South America. Tapos biglang na meron na rin dito sa Pilipinas. Hindi po niya ito native habitat. Ngayon po, ang naging negative impact po nun is meron din pong mga native and endemic po tayo na mga counterparts niya na nawala na rin po dun sa mga lakes kung saan nakarating na yung Arctodiaptomus dorsalis na yon. And sadly, it has been introduced to the Philippines through the aquarium trade. Kasi po, di ba may mga isda po tayo na ini-import minsan kung galing minsan sa ibang tropical countries or other parts of the world. So yung tubig po na dinadala to transport these fishes, yun po malamang yung nakapagdala nung non-native zooplankton na yun dito sa Pilipinas. And one of the studies in our lab focuses on trying to find out ano yung impact niya sa environment, ano yung naging response niya nung pag nakarating na siya dito sa environment natin. Kasi apparently, our results point to the fact na yung species po na yon ay mahilig sa nutrient-rich waters, no? Na marami po tayo nun sa Pilipinas kasi one of our big problems in the Philippines is eutrophication. So, yun po. And in the process po, marami po siyang nadi-displace na native and endemic species ng mga copepods po na yan. So, yun po.
So, obviously, the threats, all right, of invasive species impact our local residents who depend on local fish species for their food as well as their livelihood. Okay, so malaking impact po talaga nun. Ano ha? Is there a regulatory framework that is in place in the Philippines to control the introduction of foreign species?
For fishes po, relatively, the Department of Agriculture, of course, has some policies in place in order to make sure that it is controlled. Kaso, minsan po talaga, kapag hindi po napag-aaralan ng mabuti yung importation or yung introduction, lalo na kung ang namamaya nilang is yung profit side, yung ay maganda siyang ibenta, mabilis siyang lumaki, okay siyang panglinis ng aquarium, or in the case of yung mga inaaral po namin na zooplankton, hindi naman kasi siya nakikita, so parang hindi tuloy siya nabibigyan ng importance, or minsan pag nakarating na, it's already too late, no? Established na po yung population niya. So yun po.
Okay, so sustainability first before quick profit, no? So this time from Villamor Visaya of Philippine Daily Inquirer, the question is directed to Dr. Arnold Salvacion. Okay, so ang tanong po niya, ano po ang distinct features and accomplishments that made you stand out above the rest in your field? Bakit kayo ang napili? Sa tingin mo lang. Okay, and next question niya, are you willing to share your expertise to others who are greenhorns and living in the countryside?
I think siguro honestly, parang konti pa kasi yung nagre-research sa field na ginagawa ko eh. Lalo sa field ng human ecology at mapping, parang there's a handful of people pa lang sa Philippines ang nag-venture sa research na to. The next is, yung research ko kasi minimal yung gastos eh. Parang wala masyadong capital outlay. So, computer lang, tapos data na nandun na pala sa LGU, hindi nila alam na may data pala sila, or hindi nila alam how to repurpose the data for other use, lalo na sa land use planning. So, I think yun yung ano doon eh, kasi parang malaki, sabihin mo natin hindi naman siya parang breakthrough, pero at least yung natitipid mo na gastos instead na halimbawa gamit. Kasi sa research naman, alam naman natin na majority ng pera napupunta sa data collection eh, kasi pambayad mo ng tao, then data collection. So kung mami-minimize mo na yung area na yon, I think that's a significant contribution din. Yung next ay yung willing to share. Before, nagko-conduct kami ng training, pero ngayon, pinapilot ko muna. We'll be doing a land use planning sa isang bayan sa Marinduque again. And then what we're planning to do is to involve yung local SUCs para magkaroon din sila ng capacity building para at least matrain sila. Kasi ang may mga mapping courses lang naman kadalasan nasa Manila or UP or yung ibang may mga geography courses o yung may mga. So hopefully with this maunti-unti namin tapos makulayan, hopefully mapinturahan yung buong Pilipinas na within the local government or within the local SUCs kaya na nilang gumawa rin ng mapping para sa kanilang sariling LGUs. Yun lang po. Thank you.
All right, it saves a lot of money, no? To look first inside your backyard to see if there's data available to help you along in your urban land use planning. Okay, so next, this is from Bell again, Bell Surara to Dr. Aaron. And sabi niya, breast cancer po ay still the leading cause of death among Filipino women. Paano ba makakatulong ang artificial intelligence sa pagpapababa ng kaso ng breast cancer sa ating bansa?
Good morning, everyone. First of all, thank you for that question. To answer that question, as in any diseases, early detection is very important. Mas maaga mong madidetect yung disease, mas madali siya magagamot. That is where artificial intelligence comes into play. One way to do this is to create an expert system. This is to aid doctors in diagnosing breast cancer. Bali, yan yung ginagawa namin research about it. We create an expert system to help aid in the diagnosis.
All Right. So expert systems are being developed. But in the meantime, the most intelligent thing to do if you suspect that you have breast cancer is to go have yourself checked and confirm the presence of cancer cells in your body. All right? So wag na tayo matakot dyan, ano ha? Kasi available naman po yung ating diagnostics and treatment regimens for breast cancer today. So the earlier, the better. All right. So thank you very much for that answer. Now, from Elena Esteban, directed to Dr. Cabañez. Okay? Ang tanong niya, in your research processes as a communication researcher, what are the most common forms of disinformation that you have witnessed? And what are their most worrisome implications?
Because I've been doing this information research with my teammates for several years now, what we're seeing is nag-diversify yung mga forms of disinformation that we find on social media. And it's actually very difficult for us scholars to track kasi we are just writing about this one thing, may iba na namang lumalabas. So it's diversifying as we go along. But I think the most worrisome ones, particularly in relation to our upcoming elections, is that a lot of the current disinformation strategies are moving away from the posts that you see on your wall. Hindi na siya meron pa rin yun, pero the concentration is in the group chats, sa Viber, sa Facebook Messenger. Mas mahirap yun ma-detect. And yung danger sa kanya, tailored siya to a specific group of people. So yung messaging niya, yung communication, sobrang bespoke siya, sobrang kumbaga lapat na lapat dun sa mga taong nandun sa mga groups na yon, and therefore mas resonant siya, mas vulnerable yung mga tao sa ganung klaseng disinformation. And I think that's really one of the most worrisome things that we need to look out for, yung ganun na parang nandun sa loob ng mga group chats. We really need to pay attention to that. Yun yung isa sa mga recent developments. Tapos siguro yung other one lang na I actually haven't studied yet personally, because maybe even though I'm supposed to be an outstanding young scientist, old millennial na ako, I'm not on TikTok. And my young students are telling me that on TikTok, nandun na rin yung disinformation, marami itong mga videos na pinapakalat. And yung mahirap sa kanya, hindi ka pwedeng mag-comment, hindi mo pwedeng kontrahin yung sinasabi. It's just the video. So kahit kumontra ka and you say something about this, walang ibang makakaalam. So mas mahirap siya to contend with. Unlike sa Facebook na pwede magdebate pa nga kahit nakakapagod siya. Sa TikTok, wala nang debate. Kung ano yung nandun, yun na yun. So yung mga ganun siguro we need to pay attention to these technological developments and their social implication also.
All right, while you're still there, Dr. Cabañez, here's a question from Ina Hernando of Manila Bulletin. And sabi niya, with President Duterte still opposed to the resumption of face-to-face classes, the country is bracing for another year under distance learning. Now, how can DepEd, CHED, schools, teachers, and parents maximize the use of digital or social media without compromising the safety of students, especially in cyberspace?
Okay. I guess yung caveat ko is I'm not an education specialist. So hindi ko masyadong alam yung pedagogical dimension niya ng mga best teaching techniques and apart from what I try to do in my own classroom. Pero siguro as a media scholar, ang masasabi ko dyan, yung pinaka problema kasi natin is the lack of infrastructure. Kasi medyo nagulat din tayo sa COVID-19 na biglang, I know maraming mga schools na nagtatry na to move to the online, pero biglang now, kailangan na ngayon na mag-move na online. So medyo mahirap yun. I think ang pwede natin gawin to kind of mitigate yung kasi nga the lack of infrastructure, medyo mahirap talaga siya at magastos, is teachers and people who are planning all of these educational strategies need to think of ano na yung meron, ano yung existing, and how can we make do? Yung mga bata nandun na sila sa Facebook, sa TikTok, baka pwede natin siyang magamit. Marami yung complications, pero feeling ko that's one of the things that we need to do is whilst we are waiting for upgrades of our infrastructure, let's be creative and try to make do with what we already have. Total, sanay naman na yung mga bata na mamuhay na sa mga technology na yan. Baka pwede natin silang magamit. Pero syempre, mas iba pa yung situation outside our urban centers na hindi pa ganun ka-digitalized, di ba? So, that's really a giant problem for us. Pero good to think about it now kasi doon na rin naman talaga tayo patungo. We will increasingly become more digital in the way that we teach. Salamat.
Thank you very much, Dr. Cabañas. Now, here's a question that I'd like to direct to any and all of our awardees. Okay, what opportunities do you think receiving this award will open up for you as a researcher? May nakikita ba kayong opportunities? Anyone can respond.
Okay, Sir Richard, I can somehow share. One of the opportunities that I see here is people are seeing that there's applied mathematics, there's data analytics around, so people can collaborate with us, and siguro this is also a door for the mathematicians to parang initiate the collaboration at hindi na magtataka yung mga tao, okay, you exist, you people exist. So this is like a starting point na magpakilala kami sa buong Pilipinas. And tingin ko ito yung opportunity na na-open sa amin because of, having this award. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very well said, Dr. Rabahante. But there is still a lot to do, okay? I think we all agree that science and technology is there. We actually have talents in country, in situ, to help us along. But there is still a lot of work to be done. Okay, there's still so many unanswered questions for us. And that is why we need more scientists, we need more engineers, we need more researchers. Kaya naman po, wherever you are, especially to our media friends, let's invite people to consider science and technology careers because this is a surefire key to success as a nation. Okay? So I think we've also heard very, very pointed comments and lessons from our awardees. Bata pa lang po sila pero marami na po silang nakamit. Okay? So, congratulations to all of them. And sana dadami pa ang kanilang tribu. All right? May your tribe increase. Now, let's hear something from Elena. Wants to say something?
Hi, sir. I would just like to ask a following question to Dr. Cabañas' point earlier. So what you're saying, sir, is that given that the disinformation evolves, the false information or the fake news just becomes transmitted into a more personal avenue. So it's easier to make people kumbaga gullible about these false information.
Again, sorry. So what's sorry? Any question again? Sorry.
Yun pong in your research processes as a communication researcher, what are the most common forms po of disinformation that you've witnessed and their implications?
Yeah, I guess yung pinaka common form that we see will be historical distortion. Kasi very contested naman talaga ang history. So it becomes really quite challenging. So maraming mga ganon na master na yung mukha siyang documentary pero hindi talaga siya. It's a documentary-like material na nasi-share. So maraming ganyan na historical distortion na videos. Memes din. Kasi yung memes, parang statement lang siya. Wala ka namang way of verifying na unless masipag ka at hanapin mo yung kwento behind it. So marami ring mga ganong memes na parang statements lang na mahirap ma-challenge. And then syempre, we also find a lot of yung nakakapagod na sasagot-sagutin ka yung trolling. So yun yung sila siguro yung pinaka-common na nakikita namin sa social media.
Yeah. Miss Elena, Sir Jason, Sir Richard, can I also add there sa question na yun? Because numbers can be deceiving. In this time of COVID-19, we've seen how people use numbers to somehow misinform or disinform people. So one way na naisip ko is for the mathematicians, data analytics people to help in the interpretation of the numbers para malaman ng public na hindi ito yung ibig sabihin ng number na to. Ito yung tamang meaning niya. And also siguro for the education na din sector to consider starting discussing ethics in their classes. Kahit bata pa lang sila, ma-discuss natin what's the good practices in analyzing data, interpreting data, in how we interpret numbers. Kasi numbers can be deceiving. And minsan ito yung ginagamit, di ba? Sige po. Thank you.
Add ko lang kay Dr. Rabahan, I think it's really important. I've told other media people about this also. I-feature niyo yung mga scientists natin, our mathematicians, statisticians, epidemiologists, para yung explanation galing talaga sa kanila because they're the best, they're in the best position to explain it.
Sir, we do in our program called Pinoy Scientists, and Dr. Rabahante ay naging guest na po namin. Thank you, sir.
So while you're still there, Dr. Jason and Dr. Jomar, what are the things, what would you advise people who want to post something on social media and they want to be on the side of truth, but they know that they're going to be meeting up with an avalanche of opposition from trolls and all of these things? What will be your advice?
Dr. Bandit, do you want to start?
Sige. So, tingin ko, for those people who want to share yung post, i-double check nyo saan yung sources neto. Kung yung sources ba neto ay mapagkakatiwalaan. And even though meron shinare yung isang news agency na sabihin nating kilala naman, still tingnan natin saan nakuha yung information. Kasi minsan kailangan mong basahin yung actual article. Kasi alam din naman natin, minsan sa headline pa lang mukhang may ibang sinasabi, pero pag binasa mo yung article, hindi naman ganon. So, kailangan nating magbasa. And siguro doon sa mga kapamilya natin na minsan ayaw din basahin yung yung laman, we help them na explain sa kanila na ito yung ibig sabihin ng article na to, baka hindi magandang i-share or ito yung magandang i-share na information. And we always go back to the kung kailangan natin mag-share, we go back to DOH kasi ito yung official natin, agency for, let's say, COVID-19. Yung mga ganyan po.
Ako, what I can add to it is that I actually write about this, that we should actually use the weapons that the trolls use. And their key weapon is they know so well how to connect with the stories in people's heads. Pulsong-pulso nila yan na parang, this is how people think, this is how we will craft the message. People who are in the side of good should do the same thing na especially when it comes to very difficult topics like health and ganyan na mahirap maintindihan. We need to understand our audiences and saan yung hugot nila para we are able to connect with that and deliver our message, not just clear in terms of information, but in a way that connects emotionally to them as well, because that's important. Because when we communicate, facts matter, of course, but also everything else, the sociality of it, the emotions, we need to take account of those as well.
Very good points. Thank you very much, Dr. Jason and Dr. Jomar. All right. I think there's always strength in numbers. So if you're looking for kakampi, well, look out for your scientists and science communicators, because more likely than not, they will be on the side of truth. Something that is verified, something that is systematic, all right? Something that you can rely on, okay? Authentic information, in other words. So if you're looking for numbers, reach out to your scientists, researchers, engineers, because they know better. Okay, so thank you very much. With that, I think we have had a very, very lively discussion. We'd really like to congratulate and thank our outstanding young scientists. All right. And of course, our time is running out. It's been a great pleasure to join you this morning, ladies and gentlemen, especially our friends from the media, as well as our awardees. And to close this program, I'd like to call on our friend, Ms. Luningning Samarita Domingo, the director of the National Academy of Science and Technology, for her closing remarks.
Magandang umaga sa inyong lahat. On behalf of the National Academy of Science and Technology Philippines, I would like to thank everyone for attending this virtual activity. The Academy puts a premium on its partnership with our friends from the media, and we recognize your important role as the gatekeepers of information. We hope that you will continue to help us inform, encourage, educate, bond, and serve more people. We have an official media group called Scoop, which is open to bloggers and other members of the press. Many voices, no matter how small, are better than one voice. If we work together, we can reach more people, more researchers, and more scientists. If you are interested in becoming part of Scoop, you may contact us. To our media friends, if you have articles, news reports, blogs produced about the Academy or related to our members and awardees, please let us know. Please help us share the good news with more people. I would like to thank also the 2021 Outstanding Young Scientist Awardees for your time. And of course, to my dear friend Richard Burgos, our moderator. Thank you very much, sir. We hope to see you in the next Virtual Kapehan featuring our newly elected academicians on July 6th and in the 43rd Annual Scientific Meeting of NAST on July 12 and 15 via Zoom. We are also inviting you to follow our social media accounts for information or updates on our future events. Again, good morning, magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat at maraming salamat. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Richard.
Yes, thank you very much, Director Ningning. I think, ladies and gentlemen, we have put an end to our session. But before we really sign off, let me remind everyone that we still have to accomplish the evaluation form. And you can look at your screen because the link, yes, is being flashed there. You can copy that and accomplish the evaluation form. Let me just alert you that whatever name you put in there will be the name that will be indicated in the certificate of attendance, which is system generated. Okay, so pag linagay yung Heart Evangelista dyan, mapupunta kay Heart Evangelista ang certificate of attendance. Okay, so there you are, ladies and gentlemen. Again, please follow the NAST official Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram accounts, all right? And help us promote the activities of the Academy as well. Tag nyo po kami sa mga articles and reports ninyo, especially on social media. And for those who are interested to be part of Scoop, please register at bit.ly/Scoop directory. So there you are on the screen is the directory address of Scoop if you want to be part of the mailing list. Okay? So once again, I hope you enjoyed this morning's chat, as I did very much. I think our young scientists provide us a lot of hope and encouragement. And yes, a better vision of ourselves as Filipinos competing in the world to come, from artificial intelligence to studying the ecosystem of our lakes to modeling cancer so we can predict them better with expert systems, for, of course, understanding how people communicate truth and untruth, all right? There are so many things that our young scientists are doing, and they are rightfully recognized for their contributions. Again, congratulations to our outstanding young scientist awardees, and thank you all very much for joining us today.
Sorry, let's have a photo up before you go. So please open your camera.
Yes, the reglementary photo op is up. And please open the cameras so we can have evidence that we actually met today.
Frame one. 1, 2, 3. Very well. Next frame. Next frame. Smile. 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much.
NAST Environmental Science Award, NAST Talent Search for Young Scientists, Dr. Emiliano T. De Ocampo Visionary Awards for Medical Research, DOST Awards or NSTW Awards, Outstanding Research and Development Award or the Eduardo A. Kasumbing Medal for Basic Research and Julian A. Banzon Medal for Applied Research, Outstanding Technology Commercialization Award for the Gregorio Y. Zara Medal, Outstanding Science Administrator Award for the Dioscoro L. Umali Medal, Magsaysay Future Engineers or Technologist Award, DOST International Publication Award, DOST Granted Patent Utility Model Award. Activities under Recognition Function, NAST Lecture Series. The activity aims to promote science and technology and bring our scientists closer to the grassroots. NAST Symposium for the Youth. The activity aims to promote science and technology and to bring our scientists closer to the youth. Research Upgrading and Performance Evaluation, a series of capability building workshops that aims to help researchers to conduct research projects and produce R&D outputs. The second function is the advisory function. Through its advisory activities, NAST has been able to bring science and technology closer to the lives of the Filipino people. Activities such as legislative and information fora, roundtable discussions, conferences, with topics about biotechnology, genetic engineering, research performance evaluation, manufacturing, intellectual property rights, information and communications technology, among others. The main activity of the advisory function is the annual scientific meeting. The function also conducts annual regional scientific meetings in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Speakers Bureau is a program under the advisory and advocacy functions of NAST Philippines. This activity aims to gather and bring experts in various fields to lend their expertise to academic institutions or any interested organizations who are in need of speakers